welcome. Well, this is an interview part of the IIT Bombay ACM SIGCHI student chapter, which is the fourth SIGCHI student chapter of India, which was started last year in November. And the aim of this chapter is to promote HCI education, research, and practice amongst our members, the local community, and building bridges among academics, practitioners, and the students in the field of HCI. So with us today, we have the finalists of the CHI Student Design Competition 2020. And we will be talking about their project, HapTech, and their process that they followed in the project, what difficulties they faced, and a few tips for aspiring participants who want to submit their work to CHI SDC. So just before we start, let's just go around the table and introduce ourselves. Maybe you can go alphabetical wise.
Okay, so I so like just one thing, we were a part of the student game competition, not the student design competition. So
Okay.
yeah. Yeah, so I am
Right.
Angel and I am currently I'm in my fourth year, but I was in my third year when we submitted the project, and I am pursuing computer science and design from IIIT Delhi, which is Indraprasth Institute of Information Technology. And my research interests and basically working interests are towards they're kind of at the intersection of technology and design. So I'm into HCI, interaction design, a little bit towards the software side. And yeah, that's pretty much it.
Okay, cool. I guess next would be Maya. Oh, me. Okay. um, I'm Jonathan. I'm your host for today. I'm currently doing my master's in interaction design from IDC School of Design in IIT Bombay. My interests lie in a lot of things, but mostly relating to how humans interact with machines and how a little bit of game design too. And oh, I think we just lost Mayank. Okay, let's just. I think he'll join. Okay, and just to give like a little bit about myself, I like to play music and talk to people and watch movies. I guess, yeah. So Prakhar, I think you can go next.
Yeah,
Then.
so hi, I'm Prakhar. I'm same as Angel. I'm currently in my fourth year, but I was in my third year when I submitted when I was working on this project. I'm also pursuing computer science and design, and my research interests mainly lie in computer vision, machine learning. I'm more of the tech guy of the group. But since I've also studied human-computer interaction, I know about all those things as well, and I try to use those principles when I'm pursuing my own research. Other than that, one of my main hobbies is to play games. I'm a huge gamer. I'm casual gamer, not professional or anything. But yeah.
Nice. So Mayank, I think we missed you. You can go next. I think, yeah.
I'm a fourth year CSD student at IIIT Delhi, and my main interest areas are in visual design and UI UX design and design research. And that is something which interests me more, to look at like the visual component of a game or any design problem and how it can be approached in a visual way. So those are my interests, and I really enjoyed working on this project because it was like a good mix of design research and we had to like deal with something apart from just visual, so it was nice.
Nice, thank you.
So next would be me. So I am Varnika Kero. I am also a fourth year CHI student, like all of them. So basically, my interests lie in AR, HCI, like everyone else. A little bit of game designing and UI UX designing. So like all of us have certain common interests. So like yeah. So basically, I also like I'm much more of a hardware person. So I like this project was really interesting for me because I got to do a lot of hardware because I had to make the whole machine. So that was really interesting for me. Yeah.
Right. Nice. Okay, so just before we go ahead, maybe one of you can just talk about your project and what it is about. Like, just give like a summary about the
So our
solution.
project is basically a gaming console for the blind, for the visually impaired, I'm sorry. So what we try to basically do is we try to have a tactile feedback to the user so that they can play games, which is an addition to the auditory feedback that they get nowadays in games. So that was basically what we wanted to do. In short,
Right.
if you want to say.
A much more
Yeah, yeah.
engaging experience here.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, definitely, because like they feel left out, right? I mean, when
Mhm.
most of the games are focused for people with sight. So just going back to how did you guys know each other? How did you come together as a team?
Same batch, so like basically same batch, and we also said like we were part of this. We did a game design hackathon, so because of that we got to know each other.
That was the first time all of us collaborated together and kind of worked as a team. And after that,
Okay.
we worked on another course project, and then this was like I think our third collaboration together, all four of us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So you know each other really well then. I mean, you've worked with each other. You know each other's
Yeah,
strengths
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
weaknesses, I would say.
Absolutely.
definitely.
Interesting. So what encouraged you guys to take up this topic, especially working with visually impaired um, students?
Uh, Actually, this started off as an academic course project. So in as part of our course, we have a core course called Designing Interactive Systems. So in that, our professor had asked us to basically come up with any kind of system or solution to any problem that we felt. And we basically felt that why not focus on something a little more hardware oriented rather than software oriented, because that's
Right.
something that we felt is getting kind of ignored. Like when we were discussing also, we felt it was kind of getting ignored, and like it can have a lot of application as well for interaction. And like we've also like accountable like accessibility portion is also something that we felt that is something that we could target using hardware. So after we were
Mm.
coming up, we thought of like what all areas are present where we can actually help use hardware to help someone out in need. So then Angel came up with the original idea of why not do something for the visually impaired. So we searched around a bit and we came to the conclusion that why not try to make games more accessible to the visually impaired. So from there we
Right.
started designing basic a little paper prototyping it a bit to see if it was a feasible idea. And like after we came to a okay good idea that okay this could be something, then we finalized it and we went ahead with the whole process. We started the proper process for it.
Right. Nice. So were there any constraints kept for you guys as the course? Was there any brief given from the course to
N- Not
come up with
really. So
something
I think
specific?
that one of the, I mean, not really. So this was kind of the best part of the course that we were just asked to solve a problem, and like
Right.
via the things that we were being taught in the course, but there wasn't anything that you have to. This is a theme, or you have to go in this direction. So that was something which was really nice. So because we could just explore anything we wanted to.
So no constraints, we
Right.
can pick our own problems. So it was really nice. Yeah.
It just needed
Yeah.
approval from the professor once. Other than that, like he had asked us to come up if we had any kind of requirements to approach him freely for it.
And like also depending on what kind of problems you chose, he was like ready to set up specific tutorials for maybe a skill we would need because of that particular topic we're researching. So that was nice.
So that's pretty interesting. So he kind of like built around your
Yeah.
idea, like giving you
Yeah.
tutorials based on. Oh, interesting. So how yeah, how was the process like that you followed for the project? Like, what was the timeline like? How many months did you have to do this?
We had about 4 months because the semester lasts 4 months. And plus, we took one more month for writing the paper itself to present it to Guy. So 5 months. Yeah.
So I think the first 2 weeks were given to ideation only. See what the idea was, get the literature review done for it, see what the current progress was in regards to. Okay, yeah. So the main portion was like the first 2 weeks were for ideation and literature review. After that, we focused on getting a cardboard prototype done and see if we can get some actual users. So there's this organization in Delhi called NAB, National Association for the Blind. So we approached them first for a collaboration in this project, see if we can get their students to help us out in designing the game. We approached them, we conducted a whole requirement gathering survey for them to see what all do they think is helpful for their purposes. And this is actually a very interesting story that I think Varnika will take over in the end, what happened the last time we went there. So we did all that. So we came after that. We took a cardboard prototype there as a to explain the idea, but we got a little different feedback. We got a lot of insightful feedback, which changed the whole. Changed quite a lot of features regarding the prototype, not the whole, I'll say. We had to make it more ergonomic. We had to design like what kind of haptic feedback we'll be getting. So after that, we went in with another, I think, paper prototype only first. We gave it a little, little bit of a hump kind
like
of
in
thing.
addition to sorry, so I just wanted to add something here. So it was not just the NAB people that were actually assisting us in designing this, but we also had a college mate. He was in the first year, so he is also visually impaired. So he helped us a lot in coming up with the whole thing. So the main research methodology that I would say we followed was a participatory design, because what like all four of us are so far away from the demographic that we were tending to. So we thought that we needed constant input and constant feedback from somebody who will actually be using our product. So that's why we followed a participatory design methodology. And we had Saurabh. So Saurabh was the first year, who's visually impaired, and in our college only. So like we used to talk to him a lot. We used to show him our prototypes a lot and like have his inputs. Like at every stage, everything we could do, we will go to Saurabh and be like, tell us how you feel, tell us how you're are you able to do this, are you able to do that. So that was something which was very pivotal to our like this whole journey. And what we have made today wouldn't have been able we wouldn't have reached that thing had it not been like the constant input from like a friend of ours. So like Prakhar said, the change from our first cardboard prototype to the second one, which was more ergonomic, was also something that we decided after seeing how Saurabh was using it.
Yeah. So Saurav was really involved in the whole process. He helped us a lot. Yeah.
He is also the one who directed us to NAB. He was a former student there, so he knew people also who could help us out there. He guided us through that as well.
And also because he was like a gaming and technology enthusiast, like our user was very motivated to help us also understand, because he wanted a nice game which he could play being visually impaired. So that was nice. That it was very lucky of us to get a motivated user.
You're on mute.
Sorry. Yeah. So in your college, do you guys live in the campus? Am I still on mute?
No, you're audible.
It's fine.
Okay. So I was saying, do you all live in campus?
Yeah. This
Yeah,
semester
we live in campus.
in which this course took place and we did this project, all of us were living on campus.
Okay. So how was it balancing? So you would have other, I think, academic duties or projects side by side in courses, right? So what was it like balancing? Was it a lot of workload for this particular project, or did you feel like it went smoothly?
Like I would say that It actually depends a lot. I think that we started quite a bit early and we had a constant progress, so that helped a lot to us, in my opinion. Like a lot of times we delay the projects to the last possible moment. Like in general, college students delay the project or
Yeah,
assignments to the last possible
yeah.
moment. But I think we were so excited that we were like very focused on the whole project. So it went relatively smoothly. There were ups and downs, of course, but yeah.
Yeah. I guess the motivation
Also,
was strong.
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. So like
Yeah.
we spent a lot of time just thinking about it, like on the back of our mind, even when we were probably not doing it in class. So this was something which was really close to us, this whole project. So I mean, it did take a lot of time, but it was something which we very gladly put in. It was not something which was forced upon us. So if we put considerable amount of time in it.
Also,
We
so
had
basic.
fun whenever we got together. We had fun working on it.
Yeah,
Sorry. Yeah. Go ahead.
yeah,
So,
Varnika.
Yeah, Varnika, go ahead.
yeah, also, so like after each iteration, we were learning something new about the whole design. So we were all of us are designers. We were pretty excited ki how to change it now, how to make it more ergonomic, and like at what angle should we change the curve and stuff. So it was really interesting for us because it was changing at every point of the time. So after every user study, we got to know ki we did something wrong or something had to be perfected in a certain way. So that was really interesting. So we were involved throughout the semester. So yeah.
Right. Interesting. So my next question is, were there any sort of assumptions that you had prior to this, or like that were disproven, or something that you weren't expecting that emerged from the research?
Yeah.
We
So
felt that
like
we
we
would
said,
play it better, honestly.
Oh
We
yeah,
did not.
oh,
Yeah.
no.
They
It
beat
was
all our high scores.
agreed.
When
They
we
were
yeah,
went
so
in,
much better than the game than us.
yeah, we were so bad at it. Like I mean, I played for 10 hours and still couldn't say. So
Right, right.
so like we said, it was an iterative process. So after each iteration, we got to know that we did something wrong. So like Saurabh really helped us in like putting us in the right track. Matlab, you're going wrong here, and like this can't be done. So like he was really helpful in doing that. So for example, I will just give you a few examples. Like so like Prakhar talked about the ergonomics. So we made a really say a flat cardboard prototype. So it was just a piece of paper and then you put your hand on it. So Saurabh told us ki it's not like after playing for so long, my wrist actually hurts. So we had to change the whole design based on that. And
Right.
also initially we made a 7x5 grid. So basically you have 7 rows and 5 columns. So then Saurav again told us ki like it's
Yeah.
really difficult to play because there are 5 rows, 5 columns. How do you put your fingers on all of them and feel them? So we again changed our design
Yeah.
because of that. We made it a 7x4. And the best thing was ki on a particular day we were taking our project to NAB to show them. So it was our final prototype and we were taking it to NAB. And we just wanted to show Saurabh to get his feedback whether we did everything right. And at the very
Right.
end, he was like, the game is not it's not playable. It's not playable, and because so basically we implemented a game called the egg catcher game. You have your baskets at the very end, and then the eggs are
Yeah.
dropping, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So
I
we
played that. Yeah.
implemented that in the grid, and he told us ki I can't feel the baskets because my palm is not that sensitive. So he told us to switch the baskets to the upper part so we can feed it with a fingertip. So like that was a real game changer. So initially he was scoring 5, and then he suddenly started scoring 15 because like
Okay.
it became more interactive. So yeah, so he like it was like we had many like presumptions about what to do and stuff. So we implemented that, but sort of
It,
he corrected
Yeah.
us at each step. Yeah.
yeah,
it went from an
like
egg
it was a
catcher to an
really
egg shooter.
Yeah.
yeah, it helped us justify a lot that as to why for this particular project participatory design is a very like essential part of the whole success
Process.
of the project.
Yeah. Especially for such a demographic, right? I mean,
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Also, it was really
so
interesting for designers to work with
yeah,
a demographic like that. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Interesting. So did he travel with you to NAB and speak
Uh,
to the students there?
no, actually, like some of us, no, he didn't travel with us. So we had already
Yeah.
contact. Like he gave us the reference, and then we used to tell NAB that Saurabh sent us, like Saurabh told us about you. So they were really eager to help us. NAB was really
Okay.
eager to help us out with, yeah.
So yeah, okay. Interesting. Yeah, that's pretty good. Cool. So I guess one more question. So now let's talk about Kai a bit. Like, what made you guys submit this project to Kai? How did you get to know about, or have you tried submitting before also?
So we hadn't submitted anywhere any of our projects like earlier. So I think we got to know about this ourselves, and then we kind of just like approached our course instructor about it. We asked him about, like we found this student game competition at Kai, and we would like to submit this because our project, we thought, it aligned really well with what the brief of the competition was. And we were also like really passionate about the project. We were really motivated to work on it and like get it to a point where, it could be presentable on an international platform like Kai. So that was really nice. And we kind of, as Varnika mentioned earlier, it was a 4-month period when we developed the project, and then we gave it a month. I think entire December, our winter vacations, and a bit of January, the beginning first week, we were, getting together, kind of improving on the project and wrote the paper. So finally, we submitted it in January, and we kind of waited for a few months to get the results. Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, like it's really interesting and amazing work, you guys. So did you guys miss? How do you feel about not going to? So would you guys would have gone to
Do
Hawaii?
not touch upon that.
Yeah, that's a trigger point.
Sore point.
These three
Very
were
not
going. I
touch
was
upon.
staying back.
Yeah.
Oh God, these three.
Oh man.
Every
So we
time
had,
anyone
God,
brings
yeah.
it up,
This is
so
the wrong thread to pull on.
all of our like other friends, they would send us these pictures on Instagram with filters of
Hawaii.
beaches in the background. Like the filters would be called Hawaii, and they would like send them to us, tease us. So it still.
We had everything set. We had scholarships, so in order to
Yeah,
we
yeah.
had scholarships. We had booked the tickets and everything, and then Corona hit us, and then we were like,
I think the entire lockdown and the time where we realized, oh, we can't go was like a week before our visa appointment at the embassy. And we got everything like, even funded, but the embassy also we didn't, and we weren't able to like go for that, and we were just like the entire thing was so
yeah,
Yeah.
trigger point.
I,
Some of yeah.
yeah, I mean, yeah, even some of my seniors who their papers got accepted and they didn't get the chance to go. So
It's really sad for us.
yeah. I mean, oh, okay. Let's move on. So, would you? How was it like writing the paper? Like actually writing? Were there many iterations while writing a
Yeah, so
paper?
I mean so we were not prepared to submit to Kai. Like we were prepared to do a good project for DII for our course, but we were not like prepared to okay, there is a there is a like Kai submission which we can submit to. So that was not our aim, and this like happened. It was like a very sudden thing. So our like
Right.
when our prof approached us, so like this is something you should try to get yourself into. So I mean, we were kind of looking on it pehle se bhi, but still. So so like when we started working on the first draft, it was a really messy draft. It was so bad I can't even tell you. So like one of our another college mates who's PhD. So we just like approached her. Just like kind of give us a review so that we can work on it and like see how good or bad it is, because it's the first thing and we really don't know how to write a Kai paper. So she helped us a lot. She like gave her inputs and told us that yes, you can put in this, you can't put in this, you need to tell a story, you need to highlight your learnings, and so on and so forth. So I think over like 3-4 iterations we did, over a month we iterated like over 3-4 iterations. So like in my in our project drive on Google, there are like Kai paper iteration 1, Kai paper iteration 2, and like 5 iterations like that. So yeah, it was a very iterative process, not just like the making the project, but writing the paper was in itself an iterative process as well.
Yeah, I remember. So basically, all of us were sitting on the floor, and the PhD was actually telling us ki what to write. Like it's the last day of the deadline, and the PhD is telling us to make certain changes. All of us are sitting on the floor, and then she's telling us to change this, change this. So like, yeah, that was really.
Like to be fair on our part, those were like very minor changes, but like most
only
of the
minor
work
changes, yeah.
we did like way before the deadline.
Yeah, so space here, space there, that's it. But like all of us are sitting on the floor, she's telling us ki you like you have to change this, you need to add space here and stuff.
Final, you know, like the
PhD though, like she really helped us a lot. I think if I remember correctly, before we were finalizing the idea itself, we went to her to help us choose as well between various ideas, what to do. We wrote all our ideas on her whiteboard, and we were like sitting on the ground looking at up and discussing it with her.
The discussion room we used to sit in while discussing was right next to her lab, the lab where she used to work. And PhDs have a very different routine, like timetable than undergraduates. So every time she used to go to the washroom or go fill her bottle, you know, she'd just like give us a visit, and she'd like come with us and talk to us, whatever. So yeah, she helped us like throughout the.
Interesting. So did you guys thought about submitting anywhere else, or was like how did you get to know about Kai? Was it through your professor, or you had some idea about it?
So like the PhD we are talking about, she only told us that so this is an avenue which you can look into, and then we were kind of looking into, and then our prof's mail also came ki this is a venue you can look into, and we were like yes, so we are looking into that already. So that's how we kind of got to know about Kai. And then so like we did think that we might not be able to get into Kai, so we were planning on DIS submission for this. It is Design of Interactive System. It's also an ACM conference. I think so. It's So that was that we would have submitted to next had it not had Kai not worked out.
Like we thought, you know, like even if we do get rejected, we'll get like some sort of feedback, and we like you know what went wrong, and we like improve in the future with other projects.
Right. I mean, Kai, I heard that Kai gives pretty good feedback about.
Excellent reviews. Like it's like sometimes people only submit so that they get to know about the reviews, and then they can make further changes. Like it's a very good community. Yeah, Kai is a really good community.
Interesting. Would you have any sort of tips for somebody who would want to submit their work for the Kai's game design competition?
If I were to like for tips, so one thing is that this is not something which you can do in the last minute. You need to have iterations of the paper itself. So like have it read by somebody who's seasoned in writing papers, and like write the paper should be in the form of a story, so that the person who is reviewing it is also interested in it, and it should be simple, and like it should basically flow well. But like mostly this is something you will get like feedback. After feedback you will be able to do that, but you need time for feedbacks. This is not something which is like a last minute thing and you are doing it at the last minute. So like plan before, like plan at least a month ahead.
Also, motivation is really important because it's a really iterative process. It could get really hectic at times. So you need to have that motivation ki yes, matlab, even though I have to improve it 3 times, I'll still do it. So yeah, so that's something that needs to be there.
we had
The
like an
problem
entire
should be
folder.
close to your heart, I guess. I think one of the reasons that we were able to do it was because the project was close to us, and like because of that, because it was close to us, I think we were very motivated for the project
Yes.
as well. Like
Also
otherwise,
your also the team you work with, like, you know, you should have like a good rapport with them. Like you should be able to, you know, work with each other without feeling very, you know, like there shouldn't be like an air of formality around you too much, because
Yeah.
otherwise it hinders the process. You need to like be able to work with each other freely and openly and throw around ideas, so that, you know, and take the criticism and like still manage, you know that, you know, your friends and your work is different, and kind of balance it all together.
Also, like while discussing all of this, like the Kai submission, one thing which I think nobody talks about is the video. So like paper is a very major part of the submission, but like video is also something which was very important. So I
Right.
think that is also something. So you basically have to have a balance that everything, like both of them are going through. So like video is also something which people usually don't talk about, considering like paper submission into Kai. So for us,
Yeah.
the student game competition, video was compulsory. Usually it is not
Right.
compulsory, it's optional. So like video was also a very major part of our submission.
Okay. So that also took a bit of time to make.
Yeah, we had
So
parallel groups working on.
yeah, we were working in parallel. So Prakhar and I were working on the paper alongside the PhD student that we told about, and Mayank and Varnika were working on
they
the
were
video.
collaborating with a professor, another professor of ours who had taught us, who had introduced us to design actually.
Geography.
Yeah.
So it's a
Yeah.
collaborative experience. Like all professors were helping us too because they were excited that students are taking the initiative to submit to
So like
competition.
ours is the first computer science and design batch. So
Yeah.
like everybody was rooting for us, like our first
Yeah.
professor, and then our
And
course professor as well.
and this was,
And
I think, the first submission that anybody from the batch was also making in such a like a big conference as well regarding
Yeah.
involving design.
Right.
So we weren't
like
part of
the
any lab,
entire
and then we were.
HCD department, entire HCD department heads out and all the time.
So
Yeah.
a really
And
helpful
Yeah.
department. Yeah.
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 Okay. Cool. So just like a last maybe question, what are some future projects that you guys would like to work on? I mean, each of you can give an example about
Okay,
something you would like to do next.
so we always wanted to expand on HapTech itself. So we were thinking of adding new games and so making the so we were thinking of eliminating the use of the phone itself. So like involving everything into the console itself. So we were planning on making changes to our HapTech project itself. Other than that, so like we all of us are involved in different projects. So like for example, I am doing augmented reality project, and I'm also involved in some other projects. So all of us are part of different labs. So yeah, I am working on
Right.
AR. And
Interesting. What about the others?
Uh,
Are there any specific projects that you would like to mention?
I'm working. I recently also got another paper regarding, like, I was looking into how we can classify motion from art. So there's also a paper that I recently got published. Other than that, I have another project that's going on, which is related to emotion classification only, but of humans. So yeah, I'm working on that. Other than that, I have other small projects as well, which I'm doing for my for the labs that I'm involved with. But mostly they are in machine learning, computer vision domain.
Okay.
So
Cool.
I am
Yeah.
currently involved in a qualitative research, ethnographic research kind of a project. We are actually studying how education has changed due to online schooling. So how are school students um, finding education, and how is schooling happening for them all online? So we are interviewing students, parents, and teachers.
It's a
Yeah.
really important domain, especially
yeah.
right now.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
currently.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
go ahead, man.
So
And
all of
I'm
us are
currently involved with like a, a project which deals with like developing, like studying and developing an interface and working on interfaces for emergent like users who are not very literate in the field of use their interfaces and devices.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, as part of our course only, like we have to work on multiple projects. So like we're always working on something. Like we have like multiple projects going at once. So yeah. So,
Yeah, yeah,
Agreed.
I understand that.
All
yeah.
of our
Our
courses are
institute is
always like
very
project
project
based,
oriented
so
as
one or the
far
other
as
project is always going on.
like in general. Like in general,
Okay.
the institutes promotes as many projects as possible, and like they also try to promote that we try to help out in a certain area. Like we pick up projects to help out in a certain area, and that's like something they start trying to develop right from the start of the as soon as we join the college. Like one of the first projects that a college made us do was part of a design course only, which was compulsory to all the students. Now its name has changed, and in that also, like the professor had made it mandatory that we pick up some kind of a social issue or like an issue that will basically help anyone, and we work on that.
Right. That's
And I think that's a very nice,
Yeah.
brilliant thing that the college it promotes.
Yeah.
Like practical education is, I feel, always much more
Yeah.
helpful.
They are our biggest motivators. So like at every point, like at every step, they're helping us out and stuff. So yeah, I'll say the institute is really helping us out.
okay.
And then like you
Any
slowly, you get used to identifying, like all these problems in society and like, looking at them from a design point of view every time. Like even if we're going in the metro or anywhere, we'll always be with our design caps on and be looking at the world in that way. So.
Yeah, and I think that our thinking in general as to how to identify problems has changed a lot since we began our college education. Like earlier, like we used to look at macro problems, like what are the major concerns of that we could help out with. Now we are a little more micro as well. Like this is a small problem. This is a small problem only affecting a small community, but this is still a problem that can be
Yeah,
solved using technology. So why not target that?
yeah, yeah. I mean, that's the thing, right? I mean, change can only happen incrementally, like little by little. That's how we get. That's how we come better.
Yeah.
Okay. Any closing remarks? I think we're done. Like, anything else you guys want to add? You just want to tell the world or something?
Well,
I mean,
I'll say
nothing that
like
would like probably change the world or something, but like throughout this DIS, like throughout this HapTech journey, we've had so much of fun. Like so much of fun, I can't even tell. Like
Yeah.
this is probably the best project of my entire college life that's going to be. So like one thing, like do have fun. It's okay. It's okay to work. It's important to work, but it's like equally important to have fun. So
Yeah,
yeah.
that's
Also in
important.
our case, so in order to validate all our learnings, we had NAV kids to validate all our like whatever we made. So like watching them play it with interest, with enthusiasm, like them getting competitive about their scores, and then telling us ki like the game is really interesting, and then them coming to us and telling us देखो मेरा इतना score, like I have this score and my friend scored this, and them telling us कि वापस कब आओगे, मतलब when will you come back
Yeah,
and
yeah,
when can we play this game again. So that's the biggest like takeaway from this. So
like
I just want to,
it was
yeah.
undiluted joy in their
Yeah,
expressions that really like really validated that yes, we
yeah.
did something good with this project.
As designers, it felt really nice. Like I was really happy after that. So that like after getting their feedback, I was really happy. We had a project presentation the next day. I couldn't work for 5 hours. I was just thinking about how happy they were. I was telling everyone, I was calling people and telling them. So yeah, that is something there.
As for in general, like I would suggest like to anyone that like course projects, even when you don't expect it, they can take a different direction altogether. So I would suggest that anybody who's doing even a course project, they go with the best idea possible, even if it will like literally break you into two, and like you can get very surprised with where a project can take you actually.
Yeah.
And like put your best foot forward always, like whatever you're doing, even if like the smallest of part of the project, just like put all of it in, just like all your potential, all you can, just like go all in.
Yeah. We weren't expecting anything out of the project. We were just thinking we have to put a good project on the table. But like seeing the NAB people and then like hearing the reviews from Kai people, we were like, this is one of the best experiences. Yeah. So getting appreciated for your project. So yeah.
Yeah.
But
Nice, nice. Yeah, I think we're done. Thank you guys for doing this. It was really lovely to listen to your process, your learnings, and the advice that you've given. And I hope even like aspiring students will take up projects that are similar to this kind, that solve a problem and that are also fun and engaging, which keeps both the designer motivated and also the people. So yeah, thank you.